Well, hello everyone. This is Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child. I am super excited to be here because I am talking about Easter. And as far as I'm concerned, Easter is the most important holiday. Sorry, I saw 5:02 and I thought I've not been talking for 5 minutes. Easter is the most important holiday of the entire year because it is a day we celebrate the only person that's resurrected and stayed alive forever, Jesus Christ. The resurrection of Jesus. He conquered sin and death and has victory over sin and death. So we need to celebrate. I think sometimes Easter gets pushed to the back burner and Christmas and Halloween get all of it. So today I want to talk to you about some ways that you can keep Christ in Easter. Hello, Kimberly. Glad you are here. And before I do get started, I am going to have a giveaway. I will tell you about the item at the end of the video, but I'm giving away my Easter Skies bundle that has about 4 or 5 items in it. You can enter to win 2 ways. You can leave a comment with one activity that you see here during the video that you would like to use with your family. And the second way is to go read about the bundle and then come back here and leave a second comment with what part of the Easter bundle would be helpful to you this year. All right, so we're going to just dive right into it. I'm going to bring up the first activity. This is an Easter garden that I made. It is made out of artificial flowers. You can make it, and I have made one before with real flowers. What I did, well, I know what my daughter Ashley did. She took my grandkids, her kids, to the store and let them pick out, 1 or 2 of those little bitty plants, and then they got to make their own little Easter garden in a container, a plant container. I'm going to show you how to make an artificial one. Just do the same thing as if you were doing it with dirt and real plants. So we have flowers here and flowers here. You can put them wherever you want. I did raise this up a little bit, sort of like the hill of Calvary. So if you look underneath it, although you can't really see, there's one of those green square styrofoam things that you put flowers in. Then I covered the whole thing with Spanish moss. The next thing I did was, no, I didn't go gather a lot of rocks, but if you have boys, they would probably love to go outside and get a whole bunch of pebbles and rocks. I saw these at the dollar store and went, oh, for $1, I'll get a whole bag of rocks. So I took these, and then if you can see sort of, it's hard to show on this video. I think I'm gonna, no, don't end. I made a little pathway right here. I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna lower this computer a little bit so you can see it a little better. So we made a little pathway of rocks right here. And that's what I would get done before Good Friday. Have it all ready. Now, on Good Friday, you can make 3 crosses. This is not endured over time because we've lost the other 2. I just took 2 sticks and put a little twisty tie. You can make them with hot glue gun or whatever you want. But on Good Friday, you would put the sticks here in your garden. I guess I forgot one other thing. The other thing you do need to go ahead and do ahead of time is put a tomb there. This is my tomb. Again, it's just a little pot that I got at the dollar store, and I set it right in here. See if you can see. So it's the little pathway from the cross to the tomb. On Friday evening, you would take your rock. Yes, I'm a dollar store fanatic. This is just from the dollar store. And I put it here in front of the tomb so you can see it. On Saturday evening, while the kids are sleeping, you can actually take this away, and when they wake up, they will see that the tomb is empty. Oh, good. At one time, mine had a little rock in it. So that is sort of an object lesson that you could do, and it'd be a hands-on activity. If you want to make one garden that you use year after year after year, then make it with artificial flowers. And make a little cross. Mine was doing really well till I took it out this morning to check on it, and now it won't go back in its little green styrofoam. So there we go. You do need 3 crosses if you want to recreate Calvary, but then you can use it year after year. I don't even know where I got this container, but I had it sitting around the house, and so I made it. You can make it each year with real flowers. And then when you're finished with it at Easter time, you could take those flowers and put them in the garden or put them in a pot, or you could just leave them there if they're in a good enough pot and let your kids grow flowers. And then you can turn it into a gardening or a science unit study or something like that. So that's the first one. I have directions on how to do all of this on my blog, and I will be posting them as comments here. So I'm not really good at multitasking everything. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 are resurrection eggs, and many of you have probably seen them. You can actually buy a set. Each one of my kids in kindergarten, yes, they went to private school, made their own. I think Ashley has hers, but for some reason I have Hunter's and Gentry's, and they decorated them. Gentry's teacher had paints and glitter, and they did that. Hunter's had wallpaper and whatever. So you can open them, and each egg, if you've never seen them, has a number on it and an item. So let's look at number 5. Here's number 5 in the story. Number 1 starts with the story. When I open it up, I find it's got thorns on it, like the crown of thorns. So each one of these eggs has an item in it, and then we also have a verse for each one of them. You could actually use this set of eggs for 12 days before Easter. So that would mean you're starting around Tuesday or Wednesday of this week. And every day you open one up and you take something out. This one happens to be just a paper palm leaf. There's a coin in here as well. There's an empty one for the empty tomb. But each day you would do this and then read the verse. So, for instance, let's look at the crown one. If you have the crown one, the verse is Matthew 27:29. Then they made a crown of thorny branches and placed it on his head and put a stick on his right hand, and then they knelt before him and made fun of him. Long live the King of the Jews, they said. And so you could read that verse at breakfast, one verse each morning, and then talk about it with your kids. Now, over time, your kids will be able to tell the story. They'll be able to just pull all of these out and tell the whole story. That's what mine would do after they had made these. Now, they were in kindergarten when they made them, but I remember in, say, 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, they loved telling this story and opening it up. And what a great opportunity. If you had unbelieving friends come over, you could actually, your kids could be telling the story just like it's a storybook myth or something. I mean, not that it is a myth, but I'm like, just like they tell the story of Heidi or the story of whatever they're having to read, Make Way for Ducklings. So this is a great tool to be able to teach the story with them in a fun way, but then for them to be able to tell the story as well. You could use that for narration. You could use the memory verses, the verses you read for copy work as well, trying to tie in some homeschool ideas as well. Okay, so there's another activity. The other one, I do not have the actual craft, but I have a picture of it, so I want to show you. And it is Palm Sunday crafts. My printer is really bad right now. It's not printing the right colors. But this is one you would actually paint your child's foot, and it would make the donkey head. And you can see the toes here. And then when they're finished, that's gray. And I have better pictures online. They don't print like my ugly one. Then you take their hand and you put green, and then they make green palm leaves everywhere. And so the last thing they do is they'll take a paintbrush and paint the ears in gray. Leave it sitting for a day, and then they're going to come back with a Sharpie and add whatever they want. The eyes, the nose, the ears, the whatever this stuff's called. This is a great activity, and Palm Sunday is coming up. It is this coming Sunday. And so this would be something you could do this week, and then actually read the story of Palm Sunday and what happened, and talk to your kids even before Palm Sunday so they know what they're actually celebrating. Now, if you're not sure about what Bible, a Bible reading plan that you can come off. It's supposed to be a pink background anyway. And it says Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you've got 2 scriptures right there, passages that you can actually read on Sunday. And then you go through the whole week. When you get to Good Friday here and you're putting the cross in the garden, you could read these verses with them. When you get to Resurrection, and like for those of you that are just joining us, the Easter garden is here. You take away the stone, empty tomb, and then you can read those verses from John 20 and John 1 through 18. So that would be something. This is free on our in our blog website, so you can get that as well. Now, now let's talk about food. Let's talk about some fun food ideas. We made these resurrection rolls every year. When Hunter was in college, I remember making them and actually driving over to somewhere that he was, because he goes to school a mile away, and taking him some hot resurrection buns. But my kids expected that, and now the grandkids do. I don't have any that I've actually made, but I will show you a picture of them. You can see the resurrection roll. This is what you do. You take a marshmallow and you put dough around it. It can be pop out of the canned dough, or I like to make homemade dough. But they're just going to put some dough around this big marshmallow. Then you roll it in melted butter and cinnamon, and then you set it in a pan. We did this on Saturday night. When you woke up the next morning, then I would put them in the oven, and then when they came out, they would bite into it and it would be empty on the inside. And then we could talk about the empty tomb. Hey, Friday, we're honoring Jesus' death and the sacrifice he made and the blood he shed that paid a penalty for our sins. But you know what? He didn't just die. He was buried in a tomb, but now he's risen and that tomb is empty. Let's talk about this. And you could read the verses. It's a real visual way to see that they made something on Saturday. I wouldn't make them on Friday and leave it all the way because your dough may go bad. But make those resurrection rolls on Saturday. And when they bite into it, the marshmallows melted into this gooey, luscious deliciousness. And that's a fun thing to do. Now, here's another one you could do on Good Friday. It is a graham cracker cross. And all you do is take a graham cracker, put some frosting on it, and then put some candies. I use jelly beans. You could use M&Ms. If you want to be healthy, you could take a graham cracker and put peanut butter on it and then use raisins to make it. So whatever is your deal, if you're not into sugar or you don't want to do that, you can always make it healthy by using almond butter or peanut butter. I love almond butter. Well, I like both of them. And I like raisins. So that would be a really yummy treat for me as well, because I like all of that. Those are just two snack ideas that you could use to tie in, and it gives you an opportunity as any of these, whatever you're doing, it gives you the opportunity to talk about the story of Jesus and what the sacrifice he did, or the triumphal entry, or the empty tomb, all sorts of things like that. All right, let me show you a few books, because we need to, might as well tie it into real homeschool. This is a book. You can probably get this at the library, and it would tie in the whole story. Actually, you could use this at Christmas and Easter. It's called The Glorious Impossible. It is stories illustrated by Giotto. They are frescoes that he actually painted back in the Middle Ages. And I will just show you a few of them. You could use this, here we go, beginning this week. Where is that one? I'm looking for the triumphal entry. Nope. I turned right to it earlier. Here we go. So here you could start with Palm Sunday, but you could read it this week. Here is his fresco painting. And then here is the story of the entry into Jerusalem. It's all right here for you to read. But the neat thing is, it gives you an opportunity to talk about the Bible and what was going on with Jesus' life. But it also gives you an opportunity to talk about artwork. And you could look at some of the details of what happened here. Then we go over here. And let's see, this is Jesus carrying his cross up the road to Calvary. And you could look at that and see the way they were treating him as well. Here is the resurrection. Here he is. He's resurrected. He's alive. And here is Mary and the disciples. You may say, well, why are they sleeping? I mean, these are probably the not the security people, but the guards. Anyway, you can look at this. Look at the colors that he used, and just look at the detail. I don't have questions, but now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking maybe I should come up with some a question guide that would go along with this. Anyway, you could use this to teach any part of Jesus' life, I just always used it at Easter time. So as a tie-in to fine arts. Another book I like, and we read it several times, it's sort of a cliffhanger. It's called Vinegar Boy, and I do not recommend it for young children. I would say at least upper elementary and up, because there's a little bit of graphicness. This is about the boy who brought vinegar to the cross each time, but it says a young boy's dramatic encounter with Christ on the cross. So it has all this lead up time, and then he is the one there, and he's watching what's going on, and he has a true encounter with Christ and a change in who he is. He was an orphan, but he was living with someone who was not very nice to him. I actually, when I was getting ready for this, I thought, I think I'm going to read this book again, because it really draws you in. You feel like you are living in the times in Jerusalem at the time that Jesus was going to be crucified. And so it's a very interesting book. Anyway, the one thing I would say is I would not read it to little kids, but it's a great read aloud. We always read it aloud. I did not have my kids read it. And that way too, if it was a little too much for one of your kids, you always have a chance to talk about that, and you can sort of see how your kids are dealing with it. Great book. So, and I have some book lists I will leave as well. Then the other book I want to mention is a book that I wrote. It is called Skies of the Cross, Easter Family Study Guide, and it goes through what was happening in the skies during the cross, while he's on the cross, the blood moon. And so you've got lots of verses that you're going to go through and look at what's happening. Then you're also got as well. I mean, blood moons don't just happen all the time. We had one recently, and I want to say within the last couple of years. And so, and again, my printer thinks it's a green moon, but it's really a red moon. If you print it out on your printer, that's what it would come out as. So this is a family study guide. You can use this so that the whole family works through it together, maybe during devotions, or you can have your kids work independently and then come together and talk about it. If they were working independently, I would have them at least probably junior high and up. But if you want to work on it all together, it could be all the kids at all ages. Even a preschooler could sit and listen to what's going on. This comes in a bundle, and in that bundle, you're going to get this book. You get the answer key. You get a chart on the Easter feasts that are going on. You get an Easter activities keep Christ in Easter. The coloring's completely wrong, but this is sort of what it looks like. And it will include all the directions for our free activities, plus a lot more as well. And so this is included in there. And then in the bundle, you get Easter fun, Easter activity collection, 209 Easter recipes, crafts, and games. Now, I just mentioned that. I have been so busy with everything the last few weeks. I haven't been able to share this with many people. I want to put it on sale. All of them individually, if you bought them, were $45.80, but the bundle price is $19.95, and you can save $5. My good little sales thing. You can save $5 between now and Wednesday night when you use the code March 21. March 21. I'll put all of that in a comment or in the description, but that brings it down to $15. This one book alone, if you bought it individually, and I have recently had people buy it individually, they pay $14.97 for it. So you also get the answer key. You also get the fun activities and all the directions, and that's going to give you all the verses for the resurrection egg. It's going to give you recipes. It's going to give you Stations of the Cross, the Bible reading plan, you name it, it's there. That's a lot of information. Y'all have been so great. I just love watching people come in and leaving comments. I'll close with what I began. I am giving away one of our bundles. You have till Wednesday night to enter. There are 2 ways to enter to win one of these. And if you buy it ahead of time, I will refund your money. So don't worry if you want to go ahead and get started with this right now. 2 ways to enter. Number 1, tell me in a comment here, tell me one thing from the video that you'd like to do with your kids this year. Number 2, go read about this. I think there's a link maybe already there. Go read about this bundle and then come back and leave a second comment and tell me what is the thing, what in the bundle would help your family the most right now, keeping their eyes on Jesus during Easter time as well. So those are just a few ideas, a few things as far as the giveaway and then the sale. Before I finish, I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to talk about our heart. preparing our heart for Easter. We talk about this at Christmas time, but sometimes I think Easter, like I said, gets pushed aside. So the same time tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific, I will be right back here in this group. I will be sharing some ideas about what we can do to prepare our heart for Easter and to prepare our family and our children's hearts for Easter. And so anyway, that is all I have. I am Carrie Beck with How to Homeschool My Child. Y'all have a great evening. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them right here. Talk to you later.